LiveNation.com is going to have whatever info you need. These 2 tickets here for you. Offspring Simple Plan, Sum 41. Caller 10, good luck. 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
Some things are too good to be true. This thing is too true to be good.
The Alan Cox Show.
True that.
On 100.7 WMMS.
Oh, we're inching ever closer to another Saturday night, which means another episode of 2 hours to midnight. It is our metal show here on MMS. Very excited to bring it to you. It's me along with Corey Roddick as returned from vacation and Pat Butler, who joined us out there for Buzzard Fest. I was bummed because Pat and I were going to bring Filter on stage, and I was excited about that. Get a little plug in there for 2 hours to midnight. But the scheduling, it didn't happen. Gavin Rossdale was coming over to talk to me just as Filter was going on. So Dan Stansbury and Pat Butler brought Filter on. But me and Pat and Corey have 2 hours of nothing but metal for you on Saturday night.
Any Nickelback this week?
No Nickelback.
Hey.
They're not a metal band. That's okay.
What you think.
They're not a metal band. They are a hard rock band. These are shades of difference, but that's precisely why 2 hours to midnight is doing what it's doing. It's drawing that demarcation line. So we play your requests. We play songs we dig. Local music this Saturday from V-Trigger and After the Apocalypse. Brand new music from Dayshell and Heavy Water. Play some classics in there. Megadeth. Knocked Loose, Black Dahlia Murder.
Brian likes them.
Great. And more. So you can always submit either your band or a request to htm@wmms.com is the email. And I always post the playlists at our Facebook page and at the 2 hours to midnight page at WMMS.com. So Saturday night, if you dig metal, be here with us, me and Corey and Pat. Looking forward to it. Guardians win last night. Boy, another barn burner around the corner there at Progressive Field, but a win is a win. 1-0 over the Toronto Blue Jays. And that series is only half over, 3 of 4 tonight at 7:10. Looks like it's going to be another gorgeous night for Major League Baseball.
It's like a perfect night.
In Cleveland, Ohio. So far, they have split the first 2 games. See what happens in the back half of the series. They will wrap it with 1:10 pitch tomorrow afternoon before the Guardians head down and play former teammate Aaron Savali, who's now with the Tampa Bay Rays. And but tonight, 7:10, Blue Jays, Guardians are the Buzzard. And remember, CLE Clothing Company all this month. They got a couple of weeks left. You can use the promo code FLASH for 20% off. I saw Chris Tucker is coming to Cleveland.
Yeah, Playhouse Square, right?
Chris Tucker is going on his first tour in a decade. And he's coming to Playhouse Square, October the 12th. Tickets will go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. For the, what's it called? I wonder what the tour is called. Chris Tucker, The Legend Tour. Ooh, well, all right.
I've
never seen Chris Tucker do stand-up. I know that I kind of, you forget about Chris Tucker. I mean.
Well, he was in this movie, not a lot of people know about it. It's called Rush Hour. And the premise of this movie is that he is partnered up with a Chinese detective, and they don't really
a black guy and a Chinese guy?
Yeah, and they don't really get along.
Come on.
And there's a language barrier. And at one point in the movie, Chris Tucker says to the Chinese guy, he says, he goes,
Shut up. I hate you.
Let him do it.
Do you understand the words that are coming out? Because he doesn't speak English.
It's funnier every time I hear it. I mean, it's
Do you understand the words?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It's probably a movie that might not have aged too well. I never saw any of those. They did 3 or 4 of them, right? Or am I thinking of
they
another
did.
one?
No, they did a
There's
couple.
another part.
Is that
When
the
they're playing songs on the radio,
Yeah.
and the Chinese guy is played by Jackie Chan. He's a martial artist guy and actor, and he touches. He like tries to change.
Mhm.
And Chris
He
Thank
can't
you
even
so much.
Boy, this movie sounds so funny. I cannot wait to see this.
Don't touch.
Don't ever touch a black man's radio. Yeah.
Are you high?
No. These movies
so
are
funny
so
part,
funny.
man.
Funny.
Poundcake, he's telling me the funny parts, all right? These movies are 25 years old. I've never seen any of them. They did 3 of them. They were going to do 4.
They did 3 of them.
Oh, yeah.
I just thought there was 1.
No, the movie made a ton of money. They weren't going to just do 1.
Oh man.
Are there any other funny parts you can remember?
Nope.
Listen, now I feel like I don't have to see it. No, Rush Hour in the late 90s, I mean, it made $250 million. That's a lot of money.
Let's see. Yeah.
So then they did Rush Hour 2,
I remember
which I bet was more
Two
of
Rush,
the
2
same.
Hour.
Yep, 2 Rush 2 Hour. They called it Rushour. And then they did Rush Hour 3 in 07. Where...
Oh, there is one part.
Yeah, lay it on me. I like these
So they
Cliff notes
find
for
a
these movies.
song that they both like, and it's, and then they danced, and that's how they become friends.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like it's funny, but it's like cool.
It's not like it's funny. It's cool.
Rush Hour 2. Jeremy Piven's like the gay stylist or whatever, and he goes in. I remember thinking that was one of the funniest scenes I had ever seen. Was when Jeremy
Doesn't
Piven
sound like
was
you think it's that funny.
trying. I
way
can't
you're-
remember how it went.
The way you're talking about it, you're not.
Bill
even,
needs Kleenex over here
Yeah.
because these movies are so funny, and you're just throwing it around like it's
you're
a
like,
wet rag.
Oh, it was
Mary.
so funny. I can't even remember what he said.
Okay, I was also 11 years old.
Okay,
when
do you
it
think
came
I
out.
was 41 when I watched
I
this?
think you were. You just saw it last week. You said.
Jeremy Piven was gay, and it was really funny. 'Cause he was
Not
gay,
really
Mary?
sold.
Oh boy, go ahead, tell me, Piven.
No, I'm done.
I like Jeremy Piven.
I'm clearly not a fan, so. And not like Bill, at least.
Oh God, he.
You can't even try to tell
I'm so
this
happy that
scene.
he got
It's
me
not
hip
worth
to
it
these
at this
movies
point.
now.
I would like to. I would like to
You've
hear you.
set-
I would like to hear you try and tell
You've set-
this funny part.
No, you've set the bar too high.
Let's see what you can do.
I can't. I physically can't. It's a good movie, Alan. You should watch it.
Okay.
It's got a lot of good commentary.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
social commentary
Social. Mostly social.
or DVD commentary.
Both.
Oh.
The
Well, he's doing a pretty extensive. He's doing like 30 dates. So Chris Tucker, getting back out there. Chris Tucker's a guy that when you see him pop up, you go, "Oh right, Chris Tucker." Because I like he was in The Fifth Element,
Well, he made so
which
much
is
money.
one of my favorite movies. And
He made so much money from those Rush Hour movies that he was just kind of. He's like, yeah, I'm good.
yeah, he didn't need to.
He doesn't really like going out in the spotlight unless he and he's got something to say, so he's gonna go out and do this tour now.
Yeah,
His stand up is funny. He's got a Netflix special from a few years ago. That's good.
right. Well, he's going to beginning of September in South Carolina. He's going to wrap in Detroit in October or November. His hometown show will be in Atlanta. But yeah, I remember I didn't see the Rush Hour movies, but I remember him in The Fifth Element,
Do you guys see that first one?
the first Rush Hour movie.
Yeah, for those 2 parts. Like I didn't even do him justice.
Well, because wasn't he also like, I remember him in Jackie Brown.
Yeah.
Like the only things I saw him in were probably Jackie Brown, Fifth Element. He was in Friday.
Mm-hmm.
He was in,
Only the first Friday.
huh?
He's only in the first one.
Yeah.
And then got Mike Epps for the next one.
He was in Silver Linings Playbook. That was like the last time I saw him in something with Bradley Cooper. But anyway, who cares? Chris Tucker is coming to Cleveland. If you're a fan, the Legend Tour, the tickets will go on sale tomorrow for the presale. But the show here at the State Theater is Thursday night, October the 12th, here in Cleveland, Ohio. So reading a thing that they have determined, this was the AV Club, which I think is like the pop culture arm of The Onion online. The AV Club determined what the greatest live stand-up specials of all time were.
Pure BS, pure BS, pure BS.
The best comedy albums of all time.
Are Bill and I on this list?
The 40 best comedy albums of all time ranked. I'm very pleased to tell you. At number 41, Pure BS from Bill Squire.
Hey, it's nice to be acknowledged.
Beat me out.
No, he didn't. You're number 86.
Hey. It's still not as good.
Oh, really? Still stuck on that lottery thing. Richard Pryor's Live on the Sunset Strip is... try that again.
Sunset.
Back to one.
I've never seen that one. I saw
Richard Pryor's
I saw
Live
Richard Pryor
on the
live on the
Sunset
Sunset
Strip.
I never saw
Shut up!
live on the Sunset
Smart Smup Strip. Richard Pryor Live on the Sunset Strip. Class Clown from George Carlin is number 2, and The Button-Down Mind of Bob Newhart at number 3. But they've got Steve Martin on there, obviously, and they've got, all kinds of, all the greats. Chris Rock, Adam Sandler, Cheech and Chong, Rodney Dangerfield, and Robin Williams, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, listen, when I was a kid, my first foray into stand-up was when my parents decided that they would let me listen to George Carlin records. And I don't know what it was about me or my, who knows why my parents let me listen to those, but I was hooked from that point on. I had all the Bill Cosby cassettes. That was a whole different vibe. If you were a kid coming up in the 70s and the 80s, you weren't going to avoid Bill Cosby. Obviously, his legacy is, to say the least, tarnished.
Why?
But those... Bill, see me after the show, will you?
All right.
I've got to tell
Are
you
you
something.
having drinks?
Where are we going?
Do you know how hard you laughed at Rush Hour? You're going to laugh harder when I tell you what happened to Bill Cosby. But Pryor's Live on the Sunset Strip, when he talked about setting himself on fire from smoking crack. If you've never seen it, it is worth seeing.
I fell in love with this pipe. This pipe controlled my very being. Don't answer the phone. We have smoking to do. All the pipe is talking about, now come on. Don't put me down anywhere where I might fall. 'Cause it's 2 a.m. and it's hard to get one of me.
It is interesting how the form has changed, though, because if Richard Pryor was doing that stuff today, you wonder how he would be regarded. I love George Carlin. I mean, for me, he is, he's the sun and the moon, just because that's how I came up, is listening to George Carlin. But like really old Carlin, a lot of it's pretty corny.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's observational, but it was so long ago that not a lot of people had been doing anything like that. He was competing against like 3 other guys because he really blew up kind of later. He had to completely change his style. And
he had his popularity in the 70s with, the 7 words you can't say on TV and stuff like that. But then it kind of petered during the 80s and then picked up again in the 90s when he... You Were All Diseased, right?
Jammin' in New York.
Jammin' in New York. Yeah.
He did Jammin' in New York in 92 because he said when he saw Sam Kinison, he's like, boy, I've really been phoning it in.
Yeah. And
so Sam Kinison was the one who had kicked George Carlin in the ass, kind of. He's like, I really got to step up my game.
What website is this on? Because I've
AV Club.
It.
AVClub.com.
AV Club, the one that I found on AV Club is the 30 greatest stand-up comedy specials of all time. And then Spin's got one from 2011, the 40 greatest. Could you email me this?
I will email this to you, yes.
I just wanna...
Yep.
Well, this one's from August 1st. The AV Club
The
one.
30th, yeah. But does it say 30 for you too? The one that you looked up? Yeah. I can't find the 40 because it's got very different ones than what you were talking about.
Best comedy albums of all time ranked. Best 40 is what I'm looking at here.
Okay.
What, Cody? Did you say something?
I did not.
You know who Richard Pryor is, right?
Yes.
I have a Richard Pryor T-shirt, and I had it on over the weekend, and I was in the grocery store, and I'm there with my brother. We're going to do some grilling, and so Gwen and his wife are back at the house drinking, and the kids are playing in the backyard. My brother and I go to the store to get some stuff, and I'm wearing my Richard Pryor T-shirt, and I come around the corner, and this older guy, just as I'm about to pass him, he looks up, he goes, "Love that guy!" Like at the top of his lungs, points at my chest, "Love that guy." And for a split second, I was like, does he mean me or Richard Pryor?
Oh, he means you.
My brother goes, "Does that happen to you a lot?" And I said, I don't know. Don't know. But I have to defer to Richard Pryor.
Probably Pryor.
Right? I mean, probably my Richard Pryor shirt.
Probably Richard Pryor.
Because if the guy loved me, he would have pointed to my face.
Now, what if
Said
you
hated it.
What if you've been wearing a Rush Hour shirt?
Well, then he would have
I
stood
would.
there. Whatever he had in his hand that he'd just taken off the shelf, I assume it would have been soaked from his tears of laughter. Just judging, by the way, at your reaction to a 25-year-old movie. That's what tells me this movie holds up like no other. Alan, the Rush Hour films do hold up. They are legitimately funny. That's Paul in Ann Arbor. And if you can't trust somebody from the AA, who can you trust? I don't know. Now, will you be first in line for Rush Hour 4? Because that is in the planning stages.
Bro, I told you I didn't see 2 and 3, so.
Cisco needs to be a part of the soundtrack. They need to bring him
I heard
back.
there was a funny part with a gay guy in Rush Hour 2, but it wasn't really sold that well.
Here's my question.
I mean, I just heard about that, and I got to tell you, I want more. I need to know more.
How much do we trust this list? The most recent special album on this list is from 2003, and it's Dave Attell's Skanks for the Memories. So they're saying in the last 20 years there hasn't been a worthy album?
All right, leave him a comment. I don't
know how much I agree with this. I mean, the ones they're listing are very good.
Yeah.
But you can't negate the last 20 years just because they haven't been around
Now,
that
I
long.
hate to tell you this because you know how I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
Yes.
I'm thinking maybe they're just going for clicks.
Well, I don't appreciate that.
But I think if you're going for clicks, you would probably want to go with something a little more contemporary, especially the AV Club is playing to a younger crowd.
Or get
They're
people-
not playing to a bunch of 70, 80-year-olds. They're like, oh, the AV Club. Finally, Lily Tomlin's getting her flowers.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like some of these
Yeah.
are from 1961,
Yep.
and it's like,
Ladies and gentlemen, Woody Allen. Yeah, well, listen.
Because that's the thing. Because stand-up comedy is it's very hard to have something that's evergreen, that's as funny when it came out as it is now.
Especially since a lot of audiences, and granted, they were going to people that did cerebral material, but audiences back then were kind of way more literate too, way more well-read. You could make references in just generic stand-up material that people would get. And that doesn't happen a lot now. You got to, the audience, kind of what people are drawn to is so fragmented that you're not going to be able to throw out some kind of mildly obscure reference and get this huge roaring wave of laughter.
now the 30 greatest specials of all time go up until this year.
Yeah.
Is there one from this year? Which one?
Mark Maron, From Bleak
that's
to
a good-
Black,
that's
or
a good-
Bleak to Dark.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
It is a good one. Yeah, the new Gaffigan is good. The new Nick Griffin is good. Obviously, they're not going to make that list, but
Zach Galifianakis was on there.
that
the
purple oyster,
onion.
Purple Onion, yeah. Patrice O'Neill's Elephant in the Room was on there.
That's a
great
great
one.
one, boy.
Yeah, but it wasn't even in I don't think it was in the top 10 though.
People are telling me Chris Tucker is in that Air movie. I haven't watched that yet. The one
I haven't
where
watched that
they
yet either.
signed Michael Jordan
Yeah.
with Affleck and Damon, and haven't watched it yet.
I was actually with Nike.
What did I say?
You said he was signed to Affleck.
What?
Affleck is what I said, and Matt Damon and Chris Tucker. But you're right, devotion, accuracy. Michael Jordan was never signed to Affleck because he had his own health care, and he didn't care about the little guy, which constitutes everyone else because he was really tall. I've got to take a break. If you want to send a text, 35192. If you don't want to text, the number is 35192, and we'll be back.
It's the Alan Cox Show on 100.